Welcome to Uniting the Cults. My name is Rami Rustam. I'm going to be talking today about a post, Are you feeling guilty after leaving Islam? Are you feeling guilty after leaving Islam? And do you want advice on how to deal with the guilt? So I recommend therapy. I know a lot of people can't get therapy, so they need a lot more advice than that. And even people who are going to therapy still need lots of advice besides just the therapy. I've talked with a lot of people about their feelings of guilt, and I've noticed it's always a case of false beliefs about the guilt. So what I do is help them recognize that they are not actually guilty. More generally, I help them understand how their emotions work, why certain things trigger anxiety, stuff like that. And I've gathered that stuff into a few posts so that others can benefit too. Here's two of them. I still feel guilty for whatever. And do you feel guilty when you lied to your parents? I also recommend that you learn epistemology. It's the study of knowledge. That's what epistemology means. And I recommend this because it helps you learn how to think for yourself instead of blindly adopting the opinions of other people. Here are two articles of mine that you can use as a guide to learning epistemology. Here's the short one and the long one. And to be clear, everyone, I'm going to put the link of this post in the description of this video, so you can find these things. This is because you've been blindly following the ideas of other people in almost all aspects of your life. You can't go from this state to a state of thinking for yourself without a lot of effort to learn the knowledge necessary to be able to think for yourself. Other than that, I also recommend that you enlist us to help you. You can start a post in the r ex-Muslim subreddit, and you can ask us to help you resolve a conflict you have. Like, let's say you feel guilty and you don't want to feel guilty. That's the conflict. Or you don't believe you're guilty. I'm also offering that you join me on the Uniting the Cults podcast so I can help you. A conversation like that could be very beneficial for you compared to text discussions, live talking where you can see my face and you'll see my, body language and facial expressions, which communicate a lot of things that it's very difficult for me to communicate in writing, or practically impossible to do. It would just make it so much longer and nobody would read it. So not effective at all. This person says they don't feel guilty, but their family guilt trips them. It's not a nice feeling. They will gaslight you. If people don't know what gaslight means, you should look it up. It's a very important concept. So they tell you you are sick and need a psychologist. So I reply to this person, for anyone in this situation, it's probably the case that their feelings are wrong. So to them, I would say, don't let other people's dishonest opinions of you taint your self-image. They don't know you. They don't know what struggles you've endured or how you've grown in spite of them. Only you know, only you can judge. I wrote a post explaining this in more detail, and I already have a video about it. You should go look for it. Many Muslim parents are narcissists. Somebody says, if you even feel guilty for leaving Islam, read this. Even I left it a few days ago because you were paid by the Zionists. What? Because you were trying to be white. I don't know what this is talking about. Because you are dumb. Because you never learned the real Islam. Oh, these are the arguments that a lot of Muslims use against. Well, this one is used against ex-Muslims. but certainly not because of the horrific misogyny, intolerance, and backwardness in the Quran, or how blatantly man-made and comical the entire religion is, and definitely not because of Muhammad's actions or the actions of the most devout Muslims who emulate Muhammad, and not the barbaric history of the Muslim conquests and invasions, or the fear tactics and brainwashing that tells you leaving Islam is the worst crime on earth. No, you just read the Quran wrong and didn't understand it because you're a stupid Islamophobe and you're racist and you're trying to spread hate speech against Islam because you are so jealous of how amazing Islam is. This is the fucking gaslighting. So I asked, do you feel guilty? They said, not once. I kept myself motivated by watching all the atrocities and cruelty of Muhammad's dream world. I just feel quite bad for my family like everyone else. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and get into this one right here. I think it's very important, even though I think I made a video for it before. Many Muslim parents are narcissists. I want to be clear, though, that lots of non-Muslim parents are narcissists. Okay, this is not special to Muslims, although I think maybe Muslim parents do it more. They don't know how to think from your point of view, the parents, the narcissist parents. They only think of how things affect them, never about how things affect you. So as an example, like they'll say, you're dishonoring our family. While they're saying that, they're totally fucking ignoring what it's doing to you. As if the only thing that matters, or that it matters at all, is the fucking family's honor. They lie anytime you try to defend yourself or point out a flaw in them. This is huge. In a good relationship, both people are making mistakes and have flaws, and both people are pointing out each other's flaws so they can get better, but in a nice way. To be clear, should be in a nice way. You're being kind to each other. Hey, you made a mistake in so and so, and then the other person says, oh, you're right, I'm sorry. People admit their mistakes. That's the normal thing, and they try to do better next time. A narcissist parent will point out your flaws, but if you point out their flaws, they're not listening to that. They lie, they turn it around on you. They're not interested in them improving. They're not interested in finding out that they got some sort of flaw. And many people in your situation end up internalizing these lies about you. Your parents lied about you, and then after enough times or whatever, you end up actually believing those lies. And part of that is because you were just so young. You didn't even learn yet how to think for yourself. You're still in the stage of you believe what your parents say because your parents said it. I remember thinking when I was really young, I remember thinking my parents knew everything. And then I remember thinking they don't. And then I remember thinking they lie sometimes. Okay, so, and by the way, I'm not saying my parents are like this. They do have maybe some of these features, but they're not at all like the worst. I mean, I'm 46 years old now. I'm an ex-Muslim. One of my parents is a Muslim. The other one's an atheist now. And I'm not trying to run away from my parents. I love them. I still want to be their son. And I know a lot of ex-Muslims, they need to run away from their parents. Their parents are horrible. So you end up, the people that internalize these lies, you end up thinking that you are to blame for all the nasty conflict that's going on between you and the parents, rather than the parents being to blame. If you find yourself in this situation, I highly recommend to learn about narcissism, including the family roles when there is a narcissistic parent, how the children react to the narc parent. The family roles are truth teller, golden child. I'm sure there's others. I don't know too much about it. I'm kind of actually new to this. My daughter, who's in therapy, is the one who recognized that her mom, my ex-wife, is a narcissist. There are a lot of good videos on YouTube. Just search something like "what is narcissism" and "what are the family roles in narcissism," and then YouTube will start sending you lots of videos. A lot of them are good. There's some junk out there where the person talking about the narcissism, they speak so generally, don't get enough examples. It's just so abstract and not concrete enough. But I've seen other videos that are very clear. I would try to focus, just get videos that are from psychologists. Don't, and not to say that there aren't good videos about narcissism by non-psychologists. I'm sure there are. But generally the psychologists are a lot better at, for one, understanding narcissism, and two, explaining it to us. Learn epistemology. I'm recommending these 4 things. Learn epistemology, the study of knowledge. And I have 2 guides that you can use, which I mentioned in the other post. Therapy, like I said in the other post. I can give you tips on how to select a good therapist and how to get the most out of therapy. So if anyone wants that, contact me. Let's say below here, you could reply to this post and ask me for that. I have tips on journaling, how to do journaling. Again, ask me down here and I'll give that to you. I'm happy to help if you have any questions. Good luck, everyone. Please remember that you deserve love, respect, forgiveness, and happiness. I could get into this post. Let me look at these comments first. Yeah. Religious parents tend to be shitty parents because they would rather please society and religious expectations or please God than to be there to support their kids' emotional growth and needs. And I want to be very clear. I know some parents that, they're Muslim. They're religious in the sense that they're connected to the community. They go to the mosque, and they seem to be really good parents to me. I know their kids. I'm friends with them. They seem like really good parents. So I'm definitely not. They don't seem like narcissists at all. They do not. So let's see. Islam has some real emphasis on basically blindly obeying your parents without question. You are your parents' property until you marry. Then you're your husband's property if you're a woman, and the owner if you're a man. And this is partly what makes it worse for women than men. And this would explain why, if you look at my YouTube reports, the views, more than 90% is coming from men, less than 10% from women. It's because the women are indoctrinated more than men. So more men are able to get out, less women. This person said, thanks. I want to know what you have about epistemology. Yeah, so I gave him my 2 articles. This person said, oh, I remember them. Bit al-Sahar. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I thought I was the only one who saw this nonsense. I tell you, most Muslim I know, and I know a lot, show alarming amounts of narcissistic tendencies. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about this one a little bit. Um, let's see. Do you feel guilty when you lie to your parents? So, to help people, it helps to think about other hypothetical scenarios that are similar. So, suppose you are in 1940 something when in Europe, where I'm not sure where, I don't remember which, well, in Germany, um, when the Nazis were going door to door to ask if you have Jews hidden in your basement. Would you have lied? Would you have said, no, I don't have any Jews hidden in my basement? I believe it is reasonable to lie in this scenario. You're saving people this way. You're saving people from murder. By the same logic, it's reasonable to lie to your parents if they're abusing the shit out of you. It's your parents' fault that you're lying to them, not your fault. In the same way, in the Nazi scenario, it's not my fault that I'm lying to the Nazis to save the Jews. It's the Nazis' fault. And if you abuse your children, if you're the parent and you're abusing your children, it'll be your fault that your children are lying to you, and they will lie to you. So you're not guilty. And just because you feel guilty doesn't mean shit. Your feelings are wrong. And it's because your feelings are from your parents and your society. You internalized those feelings from your parents and your society. And you did that at a period in your life before you learned how to think critically, how to think for yourself, instead of just blindly adopting what other people say about you. Now, suppose you actually were guilty. Now what? Do you think shaming yourself is going to help? It doesn't. It actually sabotages your efforts to improve. So just because you are guilty doesn't mean you should feel shame. We all deserve empathy and forgiveness. It's part of human nature. Like this person right here says, I still feel guilty because I know it causes them pain. This is incorrect. It's the parents' own ideas and actions that are causing the pain. You're not causing the pain. And if you keep lying to yourself like this, you're not going to be able to fix your feelings of guilt. This person says, I feel guilty for lying to my mom. Why do you feel guilty? Because I love my mom. Yeah, your feelings are wrong. I don't know why I didn't reply to this. Lying is a coping mechanism that helps us stay safe. Yeah, like the big lie that a lot of us do. I didn't need to do this because I was in the US and I wasn't scared of my family or my, I don't know, society or whatever. But a lot of people have to lie about their beliefs so that they don't get their heads chopped off. You know, the death penalty for apostasy. And even if it's not the death penalty for apostasy, it's also social outcasting. You're losing your business because people don't want to come to you anymore because they found out you're an ex-Muslim. I feel guilty when I act like I agree with their religious beliefs. Why do you think you feel? Let's see. This person says, no, they don't feel guilty. They had their parents had the audacity to blackmail him or her when they came out. And they kept going. I don't want to recount the whole experience, but they basically threatened self-harm and suicide. Yes. Common. I still look after them, take them to see the doctors, do all of their paperwork, get them groceries as needed. Basically the duties of a son. I don't share about myself any longer. In the language of narcissism theory, what this person is doing is called gray rocking, and it is the right move. Basically, what you do is you hide most of yourself so they can't use it against you. This person says, basically, after realizing it's my parents who brainwashed me into this cult, there's no way I'm going to feel guilty. So, they realize they aren't actually guilty, and then their feelings followed their logic. This person said yes, and then when I asked if they want help, they never replied. Finally, I want to say one more thing. There's another thing I'm going to be doing. So here's a new thing I'm offering to people. Are you struggling with doubt, fear, guilt, and even reverting back to Islam? We are here to help. Many people come to us privately saying that they still struggle with doubt, fear, and or guilt, and even reverting back to Islam. And they ask us how we're able to escape Islam. We've been helping these people just by talking with them over chat or video calls. Tons of people have found it helpful, and it's from their own mouths. They're saying it that they found it helpful. It's not just that we recognize it. So I decided to make a formal invitation to people who are in the same situation. Come on the Uniting the Cults live stream, and I'll help you with your problems. Fear, guilt, doubt, whatever. This will have a second purpose. It helps other people who get to watch that and learn, because we're all having kind of the same problems. Whatever your fear is, guilt is, or doubt, somebody else had the same ones. It's not likely at all that you're the only one with your problems, with those kind of problems. Yes, there's some of that, and there's some nuance, and everyone's problems are a little bit different than everybody else's, but the general stuff is the same. That's why I'm able to use words like, do you have fear? There's a lot of people that have that. Their specific fears might be different, but like in the context of ex-Muslims, the fear that everyone's talking about when they say they have fear, part of it is hell. So that's what's shared between all of us. I actually didn't have that, but even when I was a Muslim, I didn't fear Allah because I knew I was going to heaven. If you need anonymity, that's fine. We can hide your face, put an avatar there instead of your picture, so we won't even use your camera. Your camera won't be on. And the other thing you can do if you wanted this is you can disguise your voice, and I found a software that does it. Hopefully you can use that. I haven't used it myself. And if anyone has any kind of trouble with this, I'll help you further trying to get this to work for you. And I think it's important to say who we are. We is me, my mom, who's been doing this longer than me, in this group right here. Let's see, Arab Atheist Network and Forum, شبكة ومنتدى الملحدين العربي. Yeah, I can barely read Arabic, but enough to say what I just said there. So this subreddit and that Facebook group and the Uniting the Cults subreddit, we sort of, this is a cross post between these three groups. And I got permission from one DDAT to post this. He said he would support us. He or she would support us in this project. Why are we doing this? Our hearts break when we hear that people are suffering in silence, and we want to do something about it, and we want to help as many people as possible. So if you want help, just comment below, I'm struggling and I want help, like this person just did. And I'm going to go ahead and reply now. Sure. Guess I'll post this to the other subs. That's a good idea, but for now I'll restrict to ex-Muslims. I'm only one person, and my mom does this too in Arabic, but she's only one person. If more people were willing to do the helping, then maybe we could do more. Thanks for suggesting that. I guess that's it.